Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. This is the card I have to share with you today. I hope you like it. Today's video is a Focus Friday video, and for the month of July we are focusing on background stamps and large stamps. So you can see here, the reason for this video is you can just see here in the background this almost ghost stamping that sort of appears and disappears into the background, and we're going to practice that today. So let's get started. My piece here, I'm just going to turn this over so I have a clean side, is Sahara sand, and this measures 14.35 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And we are going to start off by doing some stamping, and we're going to use this lovely stamp set called Stacked Stone. Here, I'll take it out of its house, and I am going to stamp, I think this time, in Sahara sand. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp set, not really paying attention much. And we're not going to stamp the traditional way. We're not using a block, and we're not going to looking for a perfect impression. We're just going to roll our stamp a bit, something you would never do if you were normally stamping. And you just want to get no harsh lines, just like that. So just an impression in the background. Okay, now I'm going to give this a little clean up, so I'm going to put it back in there and then just use my simple chamois to give everything a clean. Now you could ink the background. I'm going to ink the background. You could do this before or after you've done your stamping. It doesn't really matter. A lot of people would do it after, but we're all different. Okay, and that's what we've got so far. So I'm going to use some crumb cake in the background, and this is it. And I'm going to be using my blending brushes that I love. Get some ink on it and just start off and come in from the edges. I'm not looking for a perfect blend here, but I'm looking for vintage, antiqued, shabby, very distressed type of feeling. So we just, less is more in this case, to keep building up the layers rather than going in for one thick layer. So you can see how if we'd inked on white cardstock or on very vanilla or something like this, we'd have had a totally different colour effect. It really depends what colour you ink on will change the whole effect. So that's our first layer with some crumb cake, as you could see. Then I'm going to come in with some Sahara sand. And you don't need to clean your brush in between, it'll be absolutely fine. You can see this is darker. Like that. Okay. I'm going to actually, I think, go in for a little bit more. You can get lost in doing this, and you can just keep going, and it's difficult to know sometimes when to stop. But I think that will do for that. And then I'm going to come in with my last colour, which is soft suede. And this I'm going to do around the edges. You can see this is really dark compared to what we've had. come in with early espresso as well, but I didn't want it maybe to be that dark as early espresso would be. Okay. I'm just going to give everything a little bit of a blend out. Okay, that's what I've got so far. Okay, so put that aside. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to distress the edge of this cardstock, and you can use the scissors or you can use a proper distressing tool. It's really up to you, but I just want to give it as this vintage look. So you're basically just scraping down the sides. This thing has a blade here and you can see it's just scraping down the sides. But I'll show you can use the scissors as well. Let me find the smaller scissors. And you can do the same thing with the scissors as well, as you can see here. You can just go, if you've got a file you could use that as well. I'm going to go back to this tool because I prefer it. I feel safer with it than, and as you can see I just got tiny blades in each of the quadrants. I'm just going to do that. Last little bit here. There, I think that's nicely distressed. So I'm just going to get rid of all these little bits of paper. They're floating everywhere. There we go. And if you want to add to the distressed feel, you can also just turn in some of the corners, roll them in, cut little notches, and do all sorts of stuff as well. But we'll leave it at that. Okay. I have got a piece here of very vanilla cardstock, and we're going to stick this down. So you can see this is just a different way to use your background stamps. You don't have to get a perfect impression or use them, you know, to make something perfect. A lot of the time in mixed media art journaling, it's just there to give a little bit of interest in the background where there's no other interest. So I've stuck that down, as you can see, on my very vanilla card base. Okay. Now for the focal image, I used the stamp set called Daffodil Delight, and I stamped this element here with Stays On ink. The subtle brown stays on. Now I did this off camera to save us some time. I then used my water painters to colour it in using my ink pads, Daffodil Delight and Old Olive. Now if you want to see me doing this, I have coloured this exact image in using the ink pad in a different card, and I'll link to that at the end of this video so you can watch that one as well. But I'll show you what I have. This is our image. And now it looks a little bit too clean, I feel, sitting there. So all I'm going to do is take what's left over on my brush and just give everything a little bit of a distressing. And it just, not a lot of ink on the brush, so it just gives it, just helps everything don't look so clean. Just like that. And I feel then it just settles better on the background. So we're going to pop this up using dimensionals, so get some of these out. And this is just to give it a little bit of extra interest, because there's nothing else has popped up on the card. So we're going to do here. I warn you, you're going to get lovely and inky when you do this card. So if you don't, which I don't mind at all. So I'm just using a mixture of my small and large dimensionals. Now we're going to take all of these wretched blackings off, and as you know, I hate taking blackings off dimensionals, but I haven't got much choice. They've got to come off. Okay, and I can never tell if I've got the backings off unless I stick my fingers there. So there we are. Okay, so let's put our daffodil down. And I know it's not daffodil season now, but I just love daffodils, so they should be happy at any time of the year, in my land at least. I have here some of the Old Olive twill ribbon, and this is a combo pack. It comes with Sahara Sand, which is the other colour. I wanted to have a little bit of brightness on the card, and this is the same green as we've used in the for the colouring of the stems. So do a little bow like that. That'll do. And then some handy dandy glue dots. If I can find the end, that is. Okay. Put that there as if it's holding the whole bunch of flowers together. And then finishing touches are going to be some of these pearls. So let me get my tool out to help me lift these if I can find it. Here it is. I used some of these really baby ones just to give it something to the card, and I just use the paper piercing end, the pokey tool end of my take your pick tool to get these off here because they're so small. And I'm just sort of going to put them on this diagonal, some at the bottom, some at the top. Okay, there are the two cards. So thank you for watching this Focus Friday video where we're looking at different ways to use our background stamps. And you can see here, as I said, we've just used it to give that added interest in the background, as you can see. And then inked over the top to give this very distressed daffodil card. So this is, as I said, one of a series of Focus Friday videos, so do check out the rest. They're all linked in a playlist and you'll see that now at the end of the video. So thank you again, and I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, all the information you might want will be on the blog post on my website, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye!